A beautiful morning to all of you, my listeners. This is FirstNext News Port Harcourt. My name is Zach Jimmy. I welcome you to another edition of the newspaper review segment here on this channel. With me here in the studio is Kings Ojalo. Kings Ojalo, good morning.
Good morning, Zach.
Hope you had a good day.
Of course, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. All right, without much ado, we're going to be looking into majority of our national dailies, and you know how we do it on this particular segment of the program. We give you the headlines and we will advise you to go grab copies of these headlines so that you read the stories for yourself. And as usual, we'll be beginning with the Punch newspaper this morning, and join me as I take you on the Punch newspaper. And the lead story this morning, written boldly on the front page, the banner headline on the Punch newspaper says, Ibas rejects Assembly's move to probe 6 months spending. Ibas rejecting Assembly's move to probe 6 months spending. Do not forget the Assembly, of course, they've been calling on Ibas to tender some sort of do I classify it as maybe accountability? But he's saying, well, he laughed over it, and they quickly into that particular story, saying that the immediate past Rivers State Administrator Vice Admiral Boyete Ibas and the Rivers State House of Assembly, of course, may be joined up for a showdown following the latest decision to probe the state expenditure. Let me quickly take you through the state expenditure under Ibas' tenure as the sole administrator for the state. Of course, reports shows that 254.37 billion naira from the Federation accounts between March and August came into Ibas administration, a whopping 254.37 billion naira. The data shows that 44.6 billion naira in March, 44.2 billion naira in April, 42.80 billion naira in May, and 42.3 billion naira in June, according to the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics. This is a whole lot.
That is a whole lot.
And do you think honestly, it can just leave the state without giving accountability to this huge sum of amounts, over 200 billion naira?
Honestly, I think that indeed that is a huge amount of money, so to say. But I think him refusing to take the orders from the judiciary, the court,
the House of Assembly,
rather, I think his refusal is like a spit to the face of
Rivers State, right?
Because you have to give account of that amount you spend during your tenure as sole administration, but him refusing it's a very crucial matter. That they really look. From what I learned, he said, he's.
So what do you think will be responsible for him refusing to be accountable to that Assembly?
I won't use the word ego, but he seems so reluctant about it,
so
claiming that it's the person who put him there.
Should be the person?
Yes, that should be the one to
Well, I will leave you to your thoughts. Of course, everybody is entitled to their opinion on this particular subject matter. He was a sole administrator, and by virtue of his position as senator, he don't need to report to anybody aside from the president who appointed him there. But let's wish the House of Assembly really gets to look into over 200 billion naira from the Rivers State coffers
and go to the bottom line.
All right, another quick story there on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning says crude supply to domestic refineries hit 67.6 million barrels. You can find out on page 33 the Punch newspaper. And beneath that particular story, we also have also on the front page there that Borno terrorists attack victims hospitalized in Cameroon. A quite sad one there, if you may ask me. And the late story, okay, that's an Victoria. I would want to go that. Yesterday was the International Day of Peace, and on the front page of the Punch newspaper, there is a story coming from General Christopher Musa, who is the Chief of Defense Staff, his message to Nigeria on the International Day of Peace. Let me quickly go check other newspaper this morning before I leave it for you to see what we have there. Let's go to the Guardian. And the lead story on the Guardian says, 2027, political divisions deepen over Tinubu's reforms. 2027 political divisions deepen over Tinubu. That's a very, I wouldn't want to go into that, right? You could go grab a copy of the Guardian newspaper and see why build up to the 2027 elections there have been set of politicians eating up the polity and trying to drag some unnecessary attention. For me, I feel it's not necessary. We should be talking about governance and not about reforms. The reforms should be geared towards turning around, all right, the overall well-being of the common Nigerian. That you can find out on the Guardian newspaper. Also on the Guardian newspaper, the lead story also on the front end banner there, it says Otedola to Dapman, adapt to change, innovate or perish. Well, you could go also grab the copy of the Guardian newspaper and see what we have there. Kings, do we have more paper with you?
Yes, of course. We have on this day, we have on our front page, we have Erofai, Tinubu planning life presidency, not genuine Democrats. We also have unreconciled federation funds, that is fact await NNPC on 2.37 billion. Yes,
billion, yeah.
For $37 billion, not naira.
Oh, dollar.
Yes,
oh, really?
Dollar.
Interesting.
Then OAGF,
that is the office of the accountant
on 2
general
trillion naira pending payments. Still on these days, we also have Zenith Bank, NBBF Women Basketball Leagues.
That's sports.
Okay, that is on sports, yes.
Yeah.
Then still on the Vanguard, we also have another story which says UK, Canada, Australia order announced recognition of states and of Palestine, more Israel.
Yeah, I think that's a very great news.
Yes.
They've finally recognized
yes.
that particular country
exactly.
as a state. All right. Still have more?
Yes, I still have more.
Okay.
We have the Daily Times. Federal government revokes 1263 mineral licenses for defaulting annual fees. That is on the Daily Times. Then still on the Daily Times, we have Zenith Bank gross any hits 2.5 trillion in H1 2025, declares 1.25 interim dividend.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I think on that same Daily Times, I also have a very great story that may got here. That you must need to understand that this is we are still in the rainy season, and the NIMET, of course, they've come out to predict a 3-day rain and thunderstorms in Adamawa, Kaduna, Bauchi, and others. You can go grab the copy of that paper to see if your state is actually affected in this. This is natural. It's a natural circumstance, and we need to get ourselves prepared ahead. All right. We also have another story from the Vanguard newspaper. I think that should be our last paper this morning, so that we go check up other things, itinerary for the day. The Vanguard newspaper says the lead story this morning says crude oil imports record high as Dangote refinery reshapes trade flow. Crude oil imports record high as Dangote refinery reshapes trade flow. There have been so much controversies from the Dangote Petroleum and of course the Federal Republic of Nigeria, NPC as it were, but we just believe that the advent of Dangote is going to put to rest, of course, the pressure coming from Dapman, and other petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria. We found that you can find that particular story on the Vanguard newspaper. You've pointed out as Zenith Bank. Of course, Zenith Bank had to put out their earnings for the first quarter of 2025.
2.5 trillion.
Yeah, that's. I think you don't have more anymore.
No.
All right, thank you very much. That's all we have for you this morning on our newspaper review segment on FirstNext News Portal. Do not forget to go grab copies of this paper and then read the stories for yourself. On behalf of the editorial team and everyone here, my name is Zach Jime and Kings Ojalo.
Thank you very much, Zach.
With me. Do not forget to follow this channel and keep watching. Stay tuned for more trending stories. It's a goodbye for now.
In case you've missed out on the major local and international news updates within the week, worry no more because we've got you covered. Join us on FirstNext News for a complete highlight of important stories from Nigeria and around the world. You can follow us on our YouTube channel at FirstNext News for full news reports.